today I'm going to teach you how to use your music to process your trauma with some help from Nina Simone. This is Lessons from Legends with Ariana Joy. So while I was researching for this video, I went to Nina's website, and she has a phenomenal space that just lists all of the things that she's gone through, and like her whole life story is on her site. Her music is there as well. And as I was watching the documentary on Netflix and looking at the website and just, doing research for this video, I discovered how much trauma Nina had. So, for example, and this is just a few of the things that she dealt with spousal abuse, the racial trauma of the 60s and being heavily involved in that movement. She got a divorce, which is very traumatic relationally. She dealt with a relocation, which is displacement, and that's difficult to try to figure out how to move in a different space. She spent most of her life in America and then spent the other half in Africa. She was on a completely different continent trying to figure out how to move and what to do. And then she went to Europe for some of her life as well. There was also a point in her life where she became an abuser to her daughter, which her daughter Lisa talks about that in the documentary, and it is heartbreaking to hear and to discuss, but it's the truth of what happened. So you have all of this trauma that she dealt with, and that is a part of her life. When you listen to her music, you hear her attempting to put the traumatic experience through the ringer of her music. So you see her trying to use her music as a way to process her rage, her pain, her frustration, particularly when it came to the civil rights movement. So the lesson we're learning from Nina today is to use your music to process your trauma. Let it be similar to putting something on a conveyor belt and letting the music work out the emotions that you've dealt with as a result of that traumatic experience. So I want you to take a moment, and this is going to be hard, but I want you to take a moment and I want you to write down just a few of the traumatic things you experienced. Pause the video. I'll be here when you get back. I know that was hard, but I'm proud of you for doing it. Now that you have those things, I want you to go to your instrument, whether that's your voice, your guitar, your piano, and after this video is done, I want you to take just one of them and start feeling out what that experience sounds like musically. What chords would you use to process anger? How does that sound? What notes would you try to hit to figure out how to work through a past molestation? What lyrics connect with you when you think about your father leaving you in the past? Put that traumatic experience and take it out of you and put it into your music. And that's part of what allows you to heal, is because as you're moving through this, you're able to get into deeper emotions that you wouldn't have been able to access if you just talked about it or if you just kept it inside. You have to let it out, because trauma is very poisonous when it's held inside, and it ends up seeping out and hurting other people. I believe this is part of the reason why Nina became an abuser, is because all of that traumatic poison was stuck in her, and it overflowed, and it ended up hurting her daughter, and it damaged that relationship to the point that her daughter didn't want to live with her anymore, and she went back to live with her father. Now, Nina Simone also dealt with mental health issues as well, and they went undiagnosed for a very long time. For the majority of her life, she dealt with undiagnosed and unmedicated bipolar disorder. Here's the thing about mental illness. For most of them, there is no cure. There is no take this pill and you will no longer have ADHD for the rest of your life. Take this pill and you'll no longer be manic depressive. And that's not how it works. These pills that we are given and the therapy that we are given as a process of trying to figure out how to live life with this, these are management techniques. And I believe that music is also a very good additional management technique when it comes to dealing with mental illness. As we see with Nina Simone, who started out just using the music to deal with it, And then as time went on, she was able to get on medication, and she was able to balance out, and she was able to live a life and leave a legacy that we have that cannot be replaced, that nobody else can even begin to touch the amazing genius level musicianship that she had. So that's all I have for you today. I know this was much more of a downer episode than normal, but this is real life. People have issues, people have things that they deal with and that they go through. And many times those people are musicians because it helps to kind of get all of that frustration and anger out on the piano, on the guitar. It helps to just go down and just sing your heart out and let everything out. It helps you to move through life and to not hurt other people because you're putting it onto a guitar or a piano. Please be gentle with yourself as you're going through these 2 exercises that I gave you, and remember the lesson. Use your music to process your trauma.